saw flying, and it was one of these things where I was like, I'm going to tell this story on a podcast and no one's going to believe me, and I couldn't believe like what I was watching. I was flying first class, and so when you're up there, you know, they always want to take your jackets and like fold your suit jacket if you're wearing a suit jacket, all that, you know, it's all like class, whatever. So, you know, they took this guy who was being a dick the whole flight, like not anything outrageous, but just like annoying. Like he asked if they had martinis. They were like, "What? This is a airline. We're not
cheap wine or fucking,
you asshole."
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, it's
not
first class."
Like 50.
He goes, "It's first class." I thought maybe they have a martini. He's like looking around, like, "Do they have martinis?" We're like, "No,
madman,
dummy."
Yeah.
And then he asked for like something a la carte. He was like, "Can I have a cheeseburger and French fries?" They were like, "It's on, you know, it's just JetBlue."
Yeah.
Like, you know,
you
like
have a pre-made sandwich in a plastic bag.
Yeah, so dumb. Well, no, JetBlue Mint, the food is actually banging.
Well, not for us.
Dude, no, but you didn't go Mint though.
No,
did you sit in Mint? No, JetBlue Mint is actually the food. Is shaking its head. You've walked past it. No, I'm kidding. But KB did. I'm kidding. No. But JetBlue Mint, the food is actually insane. But so we're flying. And when you're about to land, they give you your jackets back. And, you know, whatever. The flight attendant was, like, so nice. And she goes to give the guy who was being a dick his jacket back. And I guess there was, like, a crease in it. Like, but who cares?
Oh, my God.
And he goes,
fuck this guy.
he goes, come on. He goes, you creased it. And she was like,
guy in a $3,600 pants. Come on.
She goes, I'm so sorry. You know, like she was so nice. Like this was happening right across from me, and everybody in the 4 or 5 whatever seats were like, oh, shut up, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But he's like, and then he keeps carrying on, and like as we're like sending, he's like, fuck, unbelievable. Like he's going like that, and then she goes, you could, you know, she still hasn't sat down in her seat yet. She's like, sir, just please like calm down. Like we will take it up with you. He's like, I want your manager's number. I want the pilot's number. She's like, all that will be given to you. She goes, again, I apologize. Can we offer you a complimentary drink, anything? Like she was being beyond professional. She was a woman in her like mid-50s. She was being like beyond professional. And she sits down, like in her seat, you know, they say, please prepare, like, you know, flight attendants, take your seats, because we're like maybe 2,000 feet above the runway. Like, I can see it, right?
Right.
So, those planes are going fast. So the guy is like yelling at her. Like, I can't see it because it's like in the angle, but the guy is like yelling, and he's like, this is fucking called for, this is whatever, you know, like whatever's going on. And then out of nowhere, I see the flight attendant, she must have unbuckled the thing, she comes in his face, she goes, I will break your fucking arm. She goes, stop talking to me. She goes, this is my last week on the job, I'm about to retire, I don't give a fuck. She goes, I will break your fucking arm. Now sit down and shut the fuck up. Yo, applause. I was gonna say. Like that. The people in coach must have think we were clapping because we landed. I was like, no. And yo, bro, she was not in her seat by the time the plane started actually at the runway, because I heard a thump and I think she fell into the wall. She goes, I will break your fucking, shut the fuck up. It's my last week on the job. I'm retiring. And then the pilot, when we got off, you know, like whatever, the pilot had come out. I don't even think he knew about it. And that guy, because I had to get some my bags were like a couple of rows back, so I had to like wait till a few people went past me. That guy was like talking to the pilot, like explaining the situation. The flight attendant was just right there, like fuming mad. Yo, like almost everybody who was sitting in first class was like, he's a dick, he's wrong. And then the pilot was like, you know, whatever he was saying, he's like, oh, we'll give you a complimentary thing, whatever.
Dude, that's gotta suck. Working in customer service like that has to suck.
Where you have to.
You still have to suck a dick.
Yeah.
You still have to like fuck. Wake up.
I
go to
bet
the
you
dick
they
sucking
tell
that day.
you, like, even if you're 100% right, if there's a complaint lodged, you just got.
But once those 2 weeks go in,
yo, that's it, dude.
I will break your.
She said, "I'll break your fucking arm," and I was like, "Oh my god, do it!" I was like, "Do it!"
Man, I'd love to quit this job and fucking go out in a blaze of glory.
Quit, dude.
Let's do that.
Quit, dude.
Let's do that soon and just fucking like let's just fabricate it.
It's almost
over.
Pick
a fight and go down in a fucking blaze of glory just because it's awesome.
You could do that. Your very last show, you should do that.
That's
Fucking
what I mean.
air it out, dude.
Yeah.
Air it out, man. Fucking KB to a fuck. I want to waterboard him. What happens when you get waterboarded, by the way? Why does it suck so much?
I
feel like you're gonna drown.
It's. I had a friend ask me to do it to him once.
It's like,
like as a way to come.
Yeah. He was like, he's a very intense friend. And like he was going to the Marines, and he was like, I just want to know, just in case I get kidnapped. Like, bro, you're gonna be in fucking Diego. Relax.
Yeah. What it does is it gives you the sensation of drowning without you're never actually gonna drown, so you don't have to worry.
But what if
it's
you
like
just
me being
don't
at home
breathe?
just on a random day with
What
my
if
family?
you don't breathe while they're doing it?
Well, I think they fuck. do it till you breathe, till you start to inhale.
But like,
Some people have been killed waterboarded. They had to have been.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Dude, do you know that there's a disease? Not a disease.
Well, we could do it right now. We can like a washcloth and we'll
Bro,
waterboard
there's a surgery out there for when people have sinus problems called your inferior turbinates. I
was a doctor. I was once a physical therapist.
No. I only know this because I was about to get the surgery, and then the great Jim Norton was like, "Be careful about that surgery. You can get empty nose syndrome." And I said, "What?" So I had
you had inferior turbinates.
I was literally scheduled for it within 24 hours of running into gym. This was 2 years ago. And still have a deviated septum, crippling sinus pain. But he goes, yeah, look it up. I looked it up. So the inferior turbinates, what they do is it's a little organ in like your nasal cavity right here, and a lot of people have problems with it. It gets huge for whatever reason, deviated septum, sports, or anything, and it causes you a lot of sinus issues. And so a lot of doctors, what they'll do is they'll shave down the inferior turbinate. Now, 99% of people, no problems, but 1% of people, this happens. So what the inferior turbinate does is when we're all breathing air right now. It's the turbinate, the organ is telling my brain, the oxygen is good. You have 99% oxygen. It's all fine. You're breathing it in. It's all fine. It's communicating with your brain. Sometimes in 1% of people, maybe less than 1% of people, when you get that thing shaved down too much and there is no way to fix this, there is no surgery, there is nothing they can do, your brain doesn't get the message that you're getting enough oxygen. So every second of you're breathing fine. Every second of your life, your brain thinks you're suffocating. So that people live the rest of their life. It has, you ready for this? You can Google this. Empty nose syndrome has a 90% suicide rate.
Yeah.
Because you can't live. That every moment of the day, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You feel like you're suffocating constantly. You cannot get it out of your head.
So the doctor's supposed to shave down a little bit, and if he's too much, then that happens?
Yeah.
So you're not even gonna risk the surgery because if he fucks it up, you're gonna.
Yeah. And then the doctor.
I mean, that is some shit. That's like
whatever you were gonna say. I was gonna make fun of you being like, "Oh, you pussy, your shot."
No,
not worth it.
You know what's funny too?
Not
The
worth
doctor, and I didn't know that he even knew this, but I called the doctor and I said, I was explaining, because I was about to surgery. I was like, I have to cancel whatever. I looked up this empty nose syndrome, and he was like, that's not. Like, don't worry about that. He goes, that's so rare. That will not happen. He goes, I know what I'm doing. He goes, I've done 100 of these or whatever, and nobody's got empty nose syndrome. I said, no, I really can't. He said, who's like, who told you about empty nose syndrome? And I said, he's a comedian, Jim Norton. He goes, I know Jim Norton from Monster Rain, and which is like a special where he talks about like putting cans up people's asses and banging Terry Schiavo. It was like all that stuff. It's classic special. And I go, oh yeah, Jim Norton. He goes, you're gonna take advice from Jim Norton over me? And I was like, yes. I defend comedy.